Hello, my friends. Welcome in. We are back for Masterclass number 5 today, and we are going to be talking through the course creation blueprint. I'm really excited to dive into this. It's just been an amazing document. It was an amazing effort to put together. It's been a really fun thing to teach, and it's been a great way to share what we do with the world as well in terms of something that we use as a lead magnet as well as in our courses to be able to teach with. And so it's just a really high level overview of everything that goes into making a course. And it's 36 pages. So it is a monster document, an amazing, huge free gift. And we're not going to have time to go through it all today, but I do want to hit several of the highlights for you and teach through some of the points that I think are super important to remember and really reinforce even the things that we've covered here this week. So if you're joining me live, please let me know in the comments where you're coming in from. If you're watching the replay, thank you for taking time out to do this. The replays will be up through Friday, and so we want to encourage you to take advantage of that. I feel like I'm looking off there we go. That makes me look at you a little bit better where I'm not looking off to the side here. So, as we get started today, I wanted to just remind you guys that over on the concierge page, all the replays are up and they will be up through Friday. So if you've not had a chance to go back and watch all of those, be sure and do that. We went through in depth every one of the 4 parts of a successful online course, which are, just as a quick reminder here, the offer, the copy, the curriculum, and the experience, that through line that ties it all together. And of course, we do go deeper in that in the course formula, which has registration open this week through Friday night as well. Thecourseformula.com is where you can go and register for that program, which doesn't start till after Christmas. You can get in right now and get your onboarding call scheduled as early as Monday. We're already beginning to schedule those with our students that are registering. Schedule your call between now and Christmas. After Christmas is our very first one of those 6 live classes where we're going to go in more depth than we were able to do in this masterclass this week. Be able to get your course, your specific feedback for your offer and your program, and get that out to the world so that you can continue to change your world and theirs. And I'm really excited, speaking of changing the world through courses, because tomorrow's class, just give you a little bit of a foreshadowing and a teaser here, tomorrow's class is where I get to bring in several of our students that have gone through our programs and gotten their course put together and out to the world, and get to introduce you to them and the work that they are doing, and how their course is changing lives all over. And so I'm really excited about tomorrow's class. You don't want to miss that. And then Friday will be our final day together, where we're going to wrap everything up, sort of tie it with a pretty bow, and also be able to introduce you to some more interesting guests on Friday. So please be sure that you've got 4 o'clock marked on your calendar for the next couple of days, and be with us each of those days as well. Friday will be our final day, and Friday night is the final deadline for registration for the course formula. And again, that's at thecourseformula.com. And so I wanted to just remind you again about the workbook as well that is on the concierge page, along with the replays and several of our case studies there for you guys to view at your viewing pleasure. We really appreciate that you're on live, and yet we know that for many of you it is difficult to find the time in the middle of the day, depending on the time zone and such. And so we have made the replays available, as well as the download workbook. The Masterclass workbook is there for you. The blueprint that we're diving into today is an additional resource. Make sure you don't list that. So you're looking for Masterclass day number 5, and then right under that on the concierge page is a button where you can download the document for the course creation blueprint that we'll be walking through today. And so go grab that if you don't have it. Make a note to do it later if you can't do it in the moment. But we want you to have that resource and be able to refer back to it. And so please go and get that. That's also where you'll find a link to go register for the course formula if that's your next step with us. And we're really excited for those of you who are saying yes to that opportunity to get to work with you over the next several weeks. So Before we dive in today, one of the other things that we've been doing is celebrating those of you that have been posting in the Facebook group. We've had I believe we've had about 60% engagement of the entire group over the last several days. And we're just thrilled for those of you that are sharing your takeaways, that are engaging, that are conversing, encouraging one another, excited about one another's things. That's one of the important pieces of community in my book, is to be able to celebrate one another and our wins. And one of the ways that we're doing that this week is by giving away a free copy of our book that you see behind me over here, Faith Like Flamingos, the Christian Business Guide to Walking Out Your Faith, in bold color. And we're giving away audio copies of that book to some of you that have just been randomly chosen from the comments that have engaged this week. And so we've already announced Cassandra Woog and Rebecca Faircloth that won the other day. And today's winner is Dodie Zant. Dodie Zant, and I may not be pronouncing that correctly. I apologize if that's the case. But we are looking forward to getting you all a copy of that audiobook. One of our team members will be reaching out to get your email address so that we can get you that access information. So congratulations to those winners. We've still got a couple more days of this, and so feel free to continue engaging. We'll be continuing to choose some people to randomly win some prizes as we continue out this week, and we're really, really grateful that you're choosing to spend some time with us. We know we're going into a busy holiday season, and we couldn't be more thrilled to have you here with us this week. And so let's go ahead and dive into our content today. Again, we finished the Course Mastery Masterclass workbook yesterday. We went through the experience page, so if you missed that lesson, go back and get that. But today we are going to be diving into not the Course Mastery thing. This one should be completed now if you've watched all of those classes or watched the replays for that. Today we're diving into the Course Creation Blueprint, which again, you can download from that button on the concierge page right under lesson number 5 video. And I'm going to share my screen and bring that up for you here. This is what it looks like. I'm not sure what happened here with this box around the word blueprint, but I couldn't figure out how to get it off in time for this, and I was just like, well, whatever. So for some reason, my computer decided to put a box around the word blueprint today, and we're just going to go with that. So the Course Creation Blueprint, how to grow your influence, your movement, your income, and your time freedom. Because really, well, just using my own example, we started our business to make money. Right? There's nothing wrong with that. It's a completely honorable reason to start your business. And once we got into business, we realized it was so much more. This is a way that God provides for our family, and it's a way that He grows our influence. It's a way that He grows our handprint on the future. It's the way He grows our legacy into future generations. It's the way He's growing the movement around what He's put in our hearts and the passion that He's put in our hearts. It's a way that He's growing our time freedom. We have some family visiting this week, and we're able to do a couple of hours a day of our work and spend the rest of the time with them because the Lord has raised up this business and allowed us to be able to design our life design our business around our life, design our business around our homeschooling, design our business around what's important for us and our family and raising our children. And so, so important. And this Course Creation Blueprint is a high-level overview of what you need for your course. And so let me just give you that high-level view right here. Look at this. This is the high level. This is everything in this Course Creation Blueprint, all right? You're going to get detailed pages on each of these. This is why it's a 36-page document. The thing is huge, and there's so much value packed in here in all these little nooks and crannies. And so we're going to dive into some of those today. I mean, if I took a minute a piece, like we'd be here forever. And so I don't want to overwhelm you with this, but I want you to know that it's okay. I give you permission to dive in here and pull out the pieces that you need to make your course amazing. We used that 3G evaluation the other day that I talked about in lesson number 1, the 3G eval, to be able to analyze your offer and your copy and your curriculum and the experience. And once you do that, you see what those gaps are. You're going to be able to dive in here and hone in on, okay, that's the page I need to look at. That's what I need to know to be able to make this better for my people. And so that's the purpose of this. I don't want you to feel like you have to go through it all. All right. I want you to be able to use it as a resource to be able to dial in on the pieces that you need to improve and focus there. Give yourself permission to use what you need and let the rest sit there until you need it. Okay. And this is not a, complete it 100% to get a grade. There's no grades. Nobody's judging. Nobody's giving you a score here. This is a resource to help make you better. And it doesn't do that if you allow it to guilt you for what you didn't complete. And so I give you permission to not complete it all and just use the pieces that you need to make your course amazing. Okay. So then for a little bit closer view of what's in here, the Successful Online Course Creation Blueprint includes all of these different areas. All right. The power of courses, the benefits, the types. We've talked through a lot of that this week already. Course must-haves for success. Let me see if I can dial this in a little bit. Whoops. Where's it going here? So course must-haves for success, mistakes to avoid, all of that, how to build your authority with courses. Some of you didn't realize that you can actually build your authority just like having a book published. A course gives you an additional authority in the market. And so you can dive into that if you're looking for more visibility and authority. How to establish partnerships with courses. Some of you want to partner with others in order to lead gen and to grow the base of the people coming into your programs. Check out the partnerships. How to know what your people want, right? And then there's what do you do before you create a course? And then choosing a time frame for creating and delivering your course, developing the course content, teaching the course content, the presentation and the delivery, ensuring the student success. And then there's the marketing piece, right? And so there's all of these. The ones that I want to dive into today is this the course must-haves for success. And I think I just skipped the page here. That's mistakes to avoid. Here we go. So course must-haves for success. You want to be able to deliver to your people what they have promised. And we talked about this when we talked about integrity. A lot of the people who come to us in Successful Online or in our program, Successful Online Courses, the course formula, our mastermind even, a lot of the people that we get end up telling us that they're coming from somewhere else. They enrolled somewhere else and didn't get the help. They enrolled somewhere else and got halfway and got stuck and couldn't finish, right? And so those programs are not delivering what they promised. For whatever reason, their people are getting stuck and not able to get to the transformation that was promised them. And so you want to be sure that you're giving them what is promised. And in the course formula, what are we promising? We're promising that training. We're promising that support. We're promising that customized advice for you and your offer so that you can successfully get this out there, not get stuck in the middle, but be supported to get this out to your people, right? Then you want to provide that success path. And we didn't talk about this much. I'm not sure. I've heard a couple other words for success path. You can call it whatever you like. And when I was in college, we called it a rubric for the class, which is just a big fancy term that says, tell them what to expect and tell them what to expect of you and what you expect of them. Really, it's an outline of the expectations. We're going to have this many classes. You're going to have this many assignments. They're going to be due on this date, this date, this date. You're going to be graded in this way, right? Because even though they trust you to get them to that transformation, they don't know what all those steps are. And again, perfect love casts out fear, right? And so when they feel loved and safe, they're not going to be fearful. They're going to be able to learn better. And part of that is taking away the fear of the things that they don't know. And so it's explaining in advance what is to come, what is included, and how they're going to get there. How will they know when they get to the transformation, right? What are the qualifications, or what are the milestones, or what are the things that are going to be different so that they know that they are there, that they've achieved that. It's super important to be able to communicate that. Over communication, especially with the due dates and the live calls and all of that, right? Over communicating those kinds of things so that It's very, very clear. This is when the calls are. This is the time. If it's time zones, be sure those are clearly marked. I can't tell you how many times I go to like an event sales page and it's everything about the event. And I can't find the dates and times anywhere. So frustrating. So be sure that you're over communicating with your people. This is one of the important things for success and communication isn't just the wording. It's not just putting it out there. It's not just you giving the information. It's you giving the information in such a way that your people can understand and receive that information in an understandable way that they can apply it. Okay. And so for some of you, that means putting the times of your live calls in the program. And it may mean also putting it in the emails. And it may mean also sending email reminders. And it may mean also posting a list somewhere in the Facebook group, right? Over communication, because you feel like you've said it 100 million times. Similar to talking to children sometimes, right? I'm not saying your students are like children and are not demeaning them, but it is somewhat that way where you feel like you've said it over and over and over and over again, and yet they're just beginning to understand or just beginning to notice that that's where it is. And so over communicate in a kind way, but over communicate. Be their biggest cheerleader. Be the one who is there to cheer. How are you doing? Celebrate the successes. Any little win is a win. We start all of our coaching calls in my mastermind group with everyone sharing wins because you need to be forced to think about what went well. We are so apt in just our nature to think about the things that aren't going well because we want to fix them, that we often neglect to think about the things that are going well. And so you want to help your people and train them in those wins. If you're having live calls as part of this, what are the wins that you've had since we met the last time? Share them in the Facebook group in the meantime. Let's celebrate all of those wins as they happen because it's so, so important to create that atmosphere of safety and success and celebration in your programs. Be their biggest cheerleader, believe in them, communicate that to them. One of the things that I say for my people is that I'm holding the vision for you. I see what is possible. The reason I see it is because I've seen what God has done with me and I've seen what God has done with my students, and I know that He doesn't change. He is the same God yesterday, today, forever. And if He did that for me and He did that for my students, I know He can do it for you. And I hold that belief for my people. And I say, I believe you can do this. I believe you can make money with this. I believe you can impact the people. I believe you can change the world with what you're doing. One person at a time, one course sale at a time. And this is how we do it. And you hold that belief for your people because they've got to be able to see that somebody else believes it in order for them to believe. And then they've got to take that belief on for themselves so they can believe for their people, right? And that's part of the communication process. And if you have a communication in your course, in your program that communicates that belief, that is a huge key to getting your people successfully through to that transformation. Then over-delivering them. We talked about this in the experience lesson yesterday, where you're giving them what you promised and then some, right? Where you're over-delivering. And when we talked about the love languages, I believe in lesson number 3, we talked about the different ways that people feel loved and appreciated, right? Some people over delivery means extra time or an extra call here and there or an extra check-in Facebook message or something like that. For some people, it's words of praise, and you need to over deliver in the way that you praise and celebrate them. For some people, it's an extra template that wasn't on the list of deliverables initially that you just decide to throw in at the last minute, or a bonus that's a surprise gift to them, right? And so what does it look like for your people in your program to over deliver to them? This is one of the keys of a successful program. One of the things that you must have. Then be available. One of the biggest things that I hear from other people who come to us is, you're so available. And that's something that we love providing to our people, is being available. If you have a question, you reach out, you tag me in the Facebook group, and myself or one of the coaches or one of our team members will jump in and get your question answered. That's one of the reasons that we have waited so long. We waited until this year to be able to add team to our business, because I was concerned that we wouldn't be able to be so available if we grew too big in our team. And I wanted all of our people to know that you are a person on our book, not just a transaction. This is not just about you paying us for the money or for the information. This is about us helping you be successful. This is about you as a person and what God is doing in your life and in your business and helping you be a success. And I didn't want to lose that availability to our people. And I believe the Lord has shown us how we can preserve that as we're beginning to add team members, add coaches, and add welcome party team into our business. And it's so exciting to see that atmosphere and that culture of availability and of people first being kept at the forefront, because that is one of our huge values that we hold dear. And so, how can you be available for your people? Now, I'm not talking about. I don't want you to think that I'm talking out of two sides of my mouth here, because you've also heard me say before that your time is the most precious thing that you can offer. And that if you're giving your time in exchange for coaching or training, that should be one of your highest investment programs. That is true. All right. But in terms of availability, we're not just talking about the time. We're talking about the access. We're talking about the support, right? Because so many people get into these huge programs or into these big businesses, and they purchase something from them, and then they find out that their support is in another country and English is their second language, right? Or they find out that their support takes 5 business days to get back to them with an answer. And so when you're talking about being available, we're talking about being accessible. We're talking about making it easy for people to get to you, to get their questions answered. Make sure that there's instructions for them for how to get help. One of the first things that they should find in that welcome packet, whether it's in your online platform or in an email or a download program guide or whatever it is, one of the first things they need to be able to find is how do they contact you if they have a question. If they have a question about the program, if they have a question about their billing, let them know how to contact you, because so many people just skip that completely. And then you get stuck or you have a question and there's it's not easy to find how to contact them. And then when they do, you should have policies on your end that says how quickly you're going to respond to those things. Somebody should be checking your emails regularly. Somebody should be checking your course comments regularly. In the Facebook group, somebody should be checking in there regularly so that your people know that you are accessible and that you are there to support them. Nothing feels worse than having an instructor who is ultra accessible during the launch, period, when they're trying to enroll you, and then they sort of just disappear and you can't ever get a hold of anyone again, right? And so be sure that you or a team member is available, not necessarily talking about extra additional free coaching hours, but the accessibility to get their questions answered, to get the support that they need, the direction that they're looking for. That's super, super important for the success of your program, even though it has nothing to do with your content. I hope you're catching that, because it's the experience that your people are going to rave about with you and your program. That experience of being able to get questions answered, get support when they need it, get a hold of somebody easily with their question. And so I think it's even more important nowadays with the culture that we have of that immediate gratification. It can be torture to wait 3 days for a response to something because we're so quick about this, right? And now I'm not saying you have to have instant responses in your business. We take weekends off. I only my high level mastermind, my high ticket people have access to me 24/7, and they know that they'll get a response within a few hours of me no matter when they message, right? But our other programs haven't purchased that kind of access to us, and we do have hours. We'll get back to you within a reasonable time, and I usually don't work weekends unless it's an emergency. I have certain times that are booked off for my family and certain times that are booked off for personal time and things like that, just like anybody else in any other business does, and you should too. And it should not be a obstacle for people being able to reach you if they needed something. And so taking all that into have your policies in place and realize these are people you're dealing with and be able to flex when and if it's necessary. The other thing that makes or breaks a program is having your terms and conditions well defined in advance. Do you have a refund policy? Do you have a guarantee? Is there consent for being on video? right? Having those kinds of things laid out in advance for your calls and for your programs. If it's a live, it's different than if it's pre-recorded, obviously, but that can be super important as well to the experience of your student, but also to the success of the sales process, of the onboarding process, of the experience of getting those testimonials and things, making sure that they know up front what's going on. And so we have those policies again, right, as part of the welcome packet when you enter the course formula, Successful Online Courses, any of our programs like that. All of that is in that initial terms and conditions information, right? And then the refund policy or the guarantee, if you have one on your page, there are times that there are some reasons to have the refund policy or the guarantee, and some reasons why you would not want to. And that's a whole other lesson in and of itself. But just to give you an idea, something that's going to take your time should not be refundable. Your time, your coaching, like in-person time, again, because the time, we can make more money. We can always make more money. We can't ever make more time. Your time is your most precious asset. And so if it's something where you are giving of your time in the program, then it's my opinion that that time should not be refundable, right? And so that's something to think about as you're creating those policies. Don't wait until somebody asks for a refund to decide what your policy is. Like, make it in advance, make it clear, make it known, and even just doing that is going to cut down on your refunds out there. Now, the other thing to remember, one of my coaches tells me this all the time, is that refunds happen. It's just part of being in business. Don't take it personally when it happens. We had someone sign up for our Business with God program once. It's one of the only refunds we've ever given. But she asked for a refund within like 2 days. And when we dug a little deeper, had a conversation with her, we found out she was brand new to our world. Like, she literally had found us online somehow. The very last day cart was open. And she liked what she saw, but didn't really understand what we were doing, and just bought it because she had to buy it now or it was going to close. And then once she got in and saw those first couple of lessons, and she realized that it was not the specific type of training that she was looking for. And so she asked us for a refund. It's one of the only times we've ever given a refund on that program, right? And so you do have some of those. Don't take it personally. All right. You're not a failure because somebody asked for a refund. It just means it wasn't the right thing for them, or wasn't the right time for them, or whatever the case may be. And some people are like, oh yeah, but there's all of those people in the world who will sign up and download everything and then refund and go their way. Well, you know what? We live in a fallen world. And yes, there are some of those people out there. And I choose not to dwell on that. And if something I could give them could bless them on their way, then I bless them on their way. But I don't let that negativity drag me down or keep me from serving at the highest level the other people who are all in my program. And I hope that's a way that you can kind of take that kind of stance as well. It happens. It's just like unsubscribes in your email, right? They are just self-selecting that they're not your people. And so you just factor in that a small percentage of your sales, and I do mean small, like 2% perhaps of your overall sales. I think we've had about 2 to 3% refunds of our overall sales, like of the last 7 years. Okay. So it's a really, really tiny, tiny percent. And the majority of those have been the people who are like, I didn't understand what this was. I found you at the last minute, that kind of thing. It wasn't that this is a horrible program or they, didn't get the results or whatever the case may be. Most of them were those kinds of things. And so just factor it in as an expected part of being in business, and create a policy in advance that allows you to work with those people in a way that honors God, that your responses to that even is going to be a response of integrity, that your response to that is going to be something that doesn't leave a bad taste in their mouth, doesn't give them any reason to badmouth you or your business or the name of Christ, right? And so that is super, super important, is having all of those terms and conditions well defined in advance as well. All right, let me go on to that next page. I need to find it here before I share with you so I don't make you dizzy with my scrolling. The next one that I wanted to share with you is about knowing what people want in your course. And this is kind of a marketing piece, but it's super important, I think, as well. Knowing what people want in your course. And so how to know what your people want. And let's see if I can zoom in on this. I don't know if I can't figure out how to zoom. There we go. You zoom in on that screen. You still can't see it super well. But let's just talk about this for a second. How do I know what people want, right? And we've talked before about you're the expert. You know what they need. But a lot of times people won't raise their hand or won't put money behind the thing that they need because they've got it in their head that they want something else, or they don't understand how what you know as the expert is the main underlying need that they have because they're just seeing all the surface stuff yet, right? And so one of the ways to know what your people want is to be able to ask them. And if you have a Facebook group, this can be done through a poll in the group. Hey, tell me your biggest struggle, A, B, C, or D, right? Or reply and let me know what you're struggling with around X, or what is the number one goal you have around this thing, the topic that you serve this year, right? Asking those kinds of survey type questions can get responses from your folks that allow you to be able to speak their language, that allow you to be able to communicate that you have the answer that they're looking for. And when you know what they want, then you're able to frame what you offer, frame the transformation that you give in such a way that allows them to see the thing they want in your answer, in your transformation, and allows them to be able to connect the dots to say, oh yes, that is what I'm looking for. All right. And so this goes a little bit into the weeds here, in that we're giving you some technical things, some technical resources that you can use to create these kinds of things. Things like Google Forms or SurveyMonkey or Typeform or Bucket.io. And all of these are listed in that course creation blueprint for you guys. So don't feel like you have to rush to jot it all down. Just go download that blueprint today from the concierge page. Posting a question on your Facebook page, right? Calling out your people to have a conversation like, hey, I'm thinking about creating a course that would help people do X, Y, and Z. I would love to have a conversation with 3 or 4 of you or 9 or 10 of you over the next couple of weeks, just to get some information about how I could best build this in a way that would serve you. Okay. I'm not selling. I don't have the course built yet. You could say that if that's the case. Be truthful, be honest about it, right? This is not to sell you into the program, right? But I would like to collect information. So then figure out what the questions are that you need to ask to get the answers that you need around what their biggest pain point is. Have those conversations, collect that information, collect that languaging, that data, and then be able to language what you offer in a way that answers that for them, right? And in those conversations where you are not selling them, you could say at the end, now, when I get this course put together, would you be interested in having me let you know that it's available? Right? And then you can begin to also collect people who are on an interest list or a wait list for that course when you get it together, when you get it up for sale. You could also host a webinar or a virtual class to test the waters. You could put it out there that on such and such a date and time, I'm going to have a class. Register now. Let me know. You can do that through an email service provider where they sign up on a waitlist form and can get sent the information. You could just collect the email addresses and be able to send an email yourself if you're just starting, right? To be able to have a class, test the waters, find out what questions they have. You can do this by going live on Facebook. Just start going live and say, hey, one of the questions I get a lot is X, and answer the question. Now, if you've got another question about this, leave it for me in the chat and I'll answer it in another video. That's a great way to get engagement for your page, as well as begin to collect in their language, in their words, what their questions and problems are, so that you can tweak what your messaging is to be able to provide the solution to those people. All right. You host a Q&A, offer a free opt-in for when your class releases. You can use those questions in the course. If you've already got an email list, send an email out that says, hey, I need to know what your biggest questions are around this because I'm finishing up the final touches on my program and I'd love to know. Just hit reply and let me know what questions you have so I can be sure we cover them before this releases, right? So that's great ways to know. And once you have that languaging, again, it's about the communication. It's about the experience. It's about them being able to see in a split fraction of a second, she's got what I need, right? And be able to raise their hand and say that they want to do that. The other way is at in real life workshop, some kind of a training event. You can send reminder emails for those, teach that content, ask for Q&A, collect those things, whether it's online or in person. You're collecting that information. Tell me more, right? It's really about you listening to them and hearing what they have to say to be able to know. And then those things that they're saying to you then can become part of your copy. Part of the copy that you use in your ads or as you're inviting people to your program, part of the copy that you use to explain the transformation that you get for them in the program, part of the copy that you're using, even in your, I've had some people who have taken those exact phrases from their Q&A times or from those surveys and plugged those in as like the module titles for the lessons in their program, because that's what spoke to their people and told them that that was the answer they were looking for. And so that can be a huge gold mine of information as you're putting this together to know what your people want, and how to express that to them in a way that they can understand it. I've had some people come back and say, "Oh, you're talking to me. Oh, you're speaking my language. Well, how did you get in my head today? How did you know about that conversation I had?" Right? And it wasn't that I'm spying on them at all. It's because I've been collecting that information from folks as they join my Facebook group and on my pages when I ask questions like that, right? Because it's not my goal to spy, it's my goal to serve, right? It's that I need to know how I can help you. And once I know that in that language, then I can put it back out to them in their language. And it automatically resonates with them. And they're able to raise their hand and say, yes, I need that. That's what I'm looking for. And so I hope that that is super helpful for you in learning how to position your content for the people in your program. The one last thing that I wanted to touch on today is the presentation of your content, And so this is another piece in the download that you have, the Course Creation Blueprint, which is available on that concierge page for the Course Mastery Masterclass, the presentation and delivery of your content. And this, again, here's the chart that you're looking at. So many things that can go into this. The presentation and delivery, it encompasses three things mainly. The branding. This is your color scheme, your images, your logo. Make sure that your copyright is on every piece of information or a way to come back to you. When you looked at our Course Mastery Masterclass thing, if I can get it in the camera the right way, had our logo at the bottom here, right? So that you know where to find us. If you printed that out and it was laying around and you forgot where you got it, that leads you back to us. Make sure that you're doing that you're branding everything that you put out there so that the presentation tells them where to go to get more, where to go to find you. All right. Consistency of voice. If you're talking in your course to people in general, then you want to keep that generalized voice throughout the presentation and delivery. If you're talking to your student as if it is one student listening to you, which is what I actually recommend, then you talk to that one student. It's as if I was sending one video message to one person. And so I talk in terms of you, not you all, right? Same thing when I'm writing my emails. I talk to you as one person. And then again, this is about the experience. Right? This is about them feeling like you see them, like you hear them, like you're talking just to one person so that they get that connection with you and that feeling of safety and security and like you really are diving in for them, right? And so that's how we recommend. And then if you're doing that, you don't want to go through the whole course going you and you and you and you and then all of a sudden go, so, all right, everyone, from here on out, right? Like keep it consistent. Whatever you're talking, keep your languaging consistent. Talking first person or third person, it doesn't really make a difference in the long run. It's just important that you stay consistent. All right. The other four components that go into the delivery of your program is where you're going to host it. And there's lots of different ways to host your program. And this is by no means an exhaustive list. I've only listed 4 here, okay? But it's different based on you and your goals, based on your setup or the size of your team and your back end. It could also be different based on the person that you're reaching with your program. And so you want to decide where you're going to host this program. It could be on your own blog or website. It could be using some sort of a course software that plugs into your site or through a password protected page. It could be as simple as a paid Facebook group or paid community somewhere, right? It could be on a course platform where you're paying for the privilege of using someone else's platform and hosting to plug in your videos and your downloads and the course content over there. Ours at the moment, most of ours are hosted in Teachable, which is a course software platform. And so, like, for instance, when you go to thecourseformula.com to register for this class, that sales page is actually hosted on Teachable, so that as soon as you complete your registration, it takes you right into the course information, and it immediately opens that up for you, right? And that's where you go to log in every time to see the different lessons and to complete that. And why would we do that versus on our own website? One of the reasons to have a separate one is because of the hosting. If you've got large videos or large files, sometimes web hosting can be expensive or it can slow down your website. Whereas if you have it over here on a course platform, like, they build those to do that. They build them sturdy enough to handle big files and videos and all of that. And so they're built to run fast, even with all of that plugged in there. And that would be one of the major differences there, I think. The other thing is the sales pages are usually built in to a course software platform. And also the payment processors are generally built into those platforms. So, there's Teachable, there's LearnDash, there's Thinkific, there's Kajabi, you just look up course software, course platform, and you're going to find a million different examples. Is there one that's better than others? No, not really. It just depends on what you want to use. Again, what fits you and what fits your business, what fits your people. A couple of different things to consider going into that we go into in depth in our program. But the quick answer is no. There's not really a right or a wrong. It's sort of like, is red a better color than blue for a shirt? No. There is no right or wrong there. It's which one do you prefer? Which one works better for you, right? And so looking at that, knowing what you want in terms of what you want to provide, knowing your people, what they need in terms of how easy it is to use, knowing what you need for the back end in terms of the payment processing and the taxes and all of that kind of thing. All of that's super important to take into consideration. But and there is one that we are an affiliate for, which I'm not going to mention right here, right now. But we are an affiliate because that's the one we use, and that's the one that we feel like is the best for our business. And so we do have an affiliate link. If you're interested, I can tell you more about that privately. But the point here is that you're choosing somewhere to host your program. Your own site, some sort of a community group, a platform, or you may have a hybrid. Some of our programs, the course formula for us is a hybrid. The course material is over in the Teachable site. And then the community portion of that is hosted in a Facebook group, right? And so you may have a hybrid where you're using a couple of different platforms to be able to provide all the things that you want to do. So I hope that is super helpful. I see Hope here. I said, yes, thank you. And it's not showing. Why is it not showing right? Here we go. There we go. Practical, helpful teaching. Thank you. You're welcome. Thanks for being here. So take those back, plug it in, download that blueprint, look at all those different things. Like, I've just dived into 3 pieces today, guys, and it's taken us nearly an hour. That's how much goodness is in this blueprint. Don't be overwhelmed. Look at what's in there. Look at the table of contents. Go in and choose the one that will help you make your course better for your people. That's what this is about. It's about doing all things for the glory of God, whether they're for you eat or drink or whatsoever you do, doing all for the glory of God, living in such a way, doing your business in such a way that there is nothing for the world to defame the name of Christ over, having no regrets, knowing that even if I had to go back and do that again, I would have done it that way. And that was the way that honored God. And that is a big part of having those policies and procedures done in advance as well, which we talk up through in a lot more depth in some of our in our program. So just really grateful to have you here today. Grateful to hear your takeaways in the Facebook group. Please go and post them over there for us. And then just to wrap up today, I did want to go through some quick Q&A we've gotten some questions in about the course formula. And so I just wanted to go through that really, really quickly. And again, you can get to the course formula at thecourseformula.com just by going over there. Let's see if that's showing it to you. It's not showing it. Thecourseformula.com is where you can go to log in and register for the course formula. Some of our questions that we've been getting in, how long is this going to go? It's a 6 to 8 week program, meaning that we're going to dive in right away with that one-on-one onboarding call to help you get your offer all mapped out. And then the live classes are going to start. The first one is December 28th. We've got the whole calendar for you already in the student portal, so you can get that on your calendar as soon as you register. They are live classes. There will be recordings provided. There will be a way for you to get questions answered, even if you can't be there for a couple of them for whatever reason. We really try to make it accessible to you no matter what the situation is. That will be the 6 live programs, live trainings, and then you also have that Facebook group for support from me and the team in the meantime. And I'm really excited for you to meet some of our team on Friday. Don't miss Friday's class with that. The offer imagination workshop is a DIY on-demand workshop that you have access to immediately when you register, so that you can begin working out the details of your irresistible offer. And then that onboarding call with me this month is to be able to nail that down and know what's going on your sales page. What are you offering in terms of transformation? How to communicate that to your people? And then what are the deliverables that you're going to be producing either in advance or along with those students who are going through your program? And we work all of that out with you for your people, for your offer, for your special business, because we know that each of you are unique. We're all created in the image of God, and yet each of us with those unique abilities, it makes us a little bit different than everyone else, and we get to customize that with you for your business. You're going to walk away from at the end of this course with that course created and that clear idea of how to get this to your people so you can get success stories from it and be able to continue to impact more and more people for the kingdom in the marketplace. After you purchase the course, it's going to take you right in with your username and password to access that information. The bonuses are there for you. The Offer Imagination Workshop, the Course Mastery Ticket information, all of that is right there for you so that you can get started with that part of it immediately, even before we get to the end of the month and start the live trainings. It's the live classes start again December 28th, and then we'll have our graduation mid-February. The Course Mastery Live event bonus ticket for that is for March. The dates for that is March 10 to 12. And we're really excited about that and an opportunity to present the information again in a different way, in a different format, different setting than even the Masterclass or the course formula is. And it's just one more way to master that course information and how to make it successful for your people. You will have access to this material for as long as you would like. Anytime that we update the information, there'll be a small alumni upgrade fee to be able to access the new stuff. But you get this 2022 program. You can have access to that for as long as you choose to remain in the system. The weekly calls are going to be live. This is something that our higher level mastermind members pay up as much as $1,500 a month for. And you'll get 6 of those weekly calls included with your program. If you can't make it for some reason, again, you can submit those questions in advance. We provide the replays within 48 hours for you. Just really, really excited about diving in live with you in that training to be able to provide everything that you need to make this course successful. Another question that we had was around the website or the email list. Like, what if I don't have a course together yet? Is this still for me? What if I don't have a website? What if I don't have an email list? And let me just reassure you that having the website and email list is not a prerequisite. It definitely will help you. Those who have those are going to be a little bit further ahead in terms of launching and growing the program, but it's not a prerequisite. You can start right where you are, and I recommend that you do. You've heard people say the best time to plant a tree was 50 years ago. The second best time is today. And that's why we want you to say yes to you and yes to this opportunity to get your message to the world so that we can get that out there. If you don't have a website or an email list yet, we can show you how you can go about getting those done. Okay. Again, this is not a done for you. This is a done with you. And so we'll be able to refer you to resources and things that will help you get that. We mentioned the course platform. You can have a course on a course platform without ever having a website. All right. And there are easy ways to do that. So don't let that hold you back. You don't have an email list. It's very easy to get one started. We can show you how to do that as well. And so, just know that you'll be supported in this wherever you're jumping in, whatever your situation is, to be able to get your course up and running and get people into it. Start making an impact with the message that you give, the transformation that you offer. All right. We did have a question about transcripts and things for our program. Any of our videos that are over a minute in length, any of the pre-recorded trainings are going to have a transcript provided, and we'll be working as well to get transcripts provided for the replays of those live trainings and the Q&A calls. And so just know that if you are a visual learner and prefer to read, that is something that we do. We also had someone who had some hearing issues and needed to have the transcripts for that. That is something that we provide inside of the portal. And anything that is over a minute in length, any videos that are longer than 1 minute, we do provide those transcripts for those. So you can download those and access them at your convenience. And so I hope that you'll consider joining us for the course formula. I know that there are some of you here who need this, who need the support to take that next step and to get this most precious message out to the world. And it would be our honor to walk with you on that path, not just myself, but our entire team that you get to meet on Friday are excited about welcoming you into the program. And so please go over to thecourseformula.com and check out the information. If you have questions, tag us in the group, send us a private message, email us. We would love to get those questions answered, not to put pressure, but just so that you can know a yes or no clearly. I don't believe in muddying the waters. I believe in trying to clear them. And if we have information that will help you do that, please ask those questions before registration closes so that you are empowered to take the right next step for you, whatever that is. And really grateful to have had you with us today. Grateful for those of you that are engaging. Please continue to engage in the group so we can give away some more cool stuff. And don't forget to be back here with us tomorrow, 4 o'clock. And again on Friday at 4 o'clock Eastern time for our final class together. Thank you guys. God bless you. Have a great afternoon. We'll see you tomorrow.